seems like following Jesus, especially in our modern day culture, is extremely difficult. Now, I think it's always been difficult. I mean, if you think about the history, the biblical times, people were getting murdered and their heads chopped off.
Mm.
By following Jesus. So, but even in today, like if you follow Jesus in a modern day culture, it's especially difficult. It takes a lot of courage. You talk about this in your book, having the courage in your faith to follow Jesus, especially as a businessman, is because, we have all these things that we're trying to think about. How am I going to be perceived? How am I going to look? Is this going to hurt my business? And talk to us about that, about having this courageous faith. I mean, obviously you had this courageous faith to go down this road. And how do you help your clients or people that you do some coaching with, talk to us about this courage they have to have?
Yeah, so there's a couple parts to this. After I wrote my first book, Jesus and Company, a minister pulled me aside and said what I had done was sinful
Mm,
because you can't mix Jesus with business. Nothing can be further from the truth. Every act in business that we conduct should be along the lines of what Jesus would want us to do. For instance, think about the saying, love thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul. And the second is love your neighbor as
mm-hmm,
yourself. Okay. Apply that to customer service. Every customer that business and those business people meet is going to be treated really well. And if they don't get you don't get a 5-star rating, then you haven't done what Jesus wanted you to do. So my point is that's how you bring Jesus into business. Now, Brett, I know you run a business. Would you hire somebody that was totally committed to working as if they were working for the Lord? Sure you
yeah,
would.
yeah,
And that's going to be, the three things we all look for in employees. And this is one of the things when I do my counseling business, I always tell people, don't get carried away with too many details. Just think of three things in everything you say. Number one, be positive.
mm,
Don't be negative. Just be positive. There's so much to be positive about. So that's one of the first thing employers want. Second thing they want is trustworthy. Okay. Will they be able to trust me when they're not looking?
mm-hmm,
Will they be able to just give me a job and know I'll get it done? Trustworthy. And then the third is the desire to learn. Okay, this is new. I don't know how to do it. Well, then learn how to do it. That's, having that attitude. Those are Christian attitudes, positive people that are trustworthy, the desire to learn. So you think about these three concepts that I've talked about. One is customer service, right? I mean, we can quote Jesus in that. We can quote Apostle Paul on the second one, work as if you're working for the Lord. And then we certainly have the 9 virtues of the Holy Spirit, which is what we just talked about. And those virtues come down to 3 things: trustworthy, positive, and a desire to learn.
mm,
So once you get by that, now you have the issue of embarrassment. So just before I left my career, I would keep a Bible on my desk. An HR department, the head of HR came in and said, that's against company policy. And I said, really? Show me in the policy manual where it says that. Well, it doesn't exactly say that. So I said, as soon as it does, then I'll remove the Bible from my desk. And I said, by the way, more people come into my office to talk to me about their problems and go into your office. And the reason is because they know they can trust me because the Bible's on my desk.
mm.
So my point here is that it is, I was very uncomfortable at first, but then I didn't go into the lunchroom and stand on the table and cite John 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great evangelism.
Right.
It's how I lived my life in the business world and I live today. And, I get every once in a while on my social media or my YouTube videos, somebody will say something cynical and stuff like that. But those are the weeds. Those are the weeds of life. There's
Yeah.
so much more to harvest.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Don't pay attention to the weeds. And Jesus says this in there's a parable of the weeds. And it's a wonderful story for people to read, to know about how to avoid weeds and
Mm-hmm.
how to avoid them from making you feel embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. about, and I'm not embarrassed when I have my clients
Yeah.
that I work with.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I was listening to something the other day. It talked about weeds versus something with large roots. And when you come to Christ, you have those roots and the anchor. And Jesus says that, He is divine, and when you have those roots in Him, that you're bold and you're firm. And the weeds sometimes don't have a lot of roots, and they're easily to be pulled out, right? And you're gonna
Yeah.
have those surrounding you. You just got to pull those out. So. You talk about your book about surrendering your life to Christ, and obviously, whenever you say the word surrender, it trips up people, especially as type A, hard driving entrepreneurs that I surround myself with a lot of the times. They don't like the word surrender because they want to win. They have a battle in front of them. They want to win that battle. They have a purpose or a problem they want to solve. They want to solve that, and they don't like to surrender. So that's very hard, and it's like a deep concept. It's hard to grasp. So when you say that surrendering your life to Christ, I mean, what does that kind of mean to you?
Well, every problem starts with prayer. The solution to every problem starts with prayer. And I'm just finishing up this book about Gideon, who I know you're familiar with, and how Gideon won the battle, his battle, which is metaphorical for good versus evil, was because he trusted God. And so I think when I talk about surrendering, you can solve the problem yourself, or you can ask Jesus to help you. And when Jesus does help you, he usually gives you the best answer. And you have to be, when you pray, you have to be great observers of what's being said to you and how it comes, and coincidences and Bible verses through things that people say. And you intimately know what you're looking for. So that's how the Holy Spirit talks back to us. So when I say surrender, that doesn't mean you become a weakling and you let, certainly you shouldn't let God do all the work, because then God becomes a genie, and that's a very bad place to be. So when you surrender, you start with prayer and you say, Jesus, this is where I got to go. Is this the right way to do it?
Yeah.
What should I be doing? And then sit back and be patient. So patience requires surrendering too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let it unfurl in front of you, and sure enough, you'll start seeing solutions.
Yeah.
So it's working with Jesus. It's not working against Jesus, and it's not having Jesus work for you, but it's working with Jesus. And that's what the surrendering I'm talking about is.
Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.